Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm going to speak about Algeciras a bit. A lot of our guests they use the ferry service between Morocco and Spain, crossing the Strait of Gibraltar, which is where the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea they meet, and they come into Spain from Morocco. So it's good to know a bit about this city. Algeciras, the etymology of this city comes from an Arabic word called Al Jazra Al Khadira, which means green island. Okay, it is very close to Gibraltar, and which belongs to the United Kingdom at the moment. And Algeciras is one of the busiest ports in the world. Actually, it is the 16th biggest and busiest port in the world. Of course, it's the largest in Spain and the third largest on the Mediterranean Sea. It has a lot of transshipment, which means that not only tourists come from Morocco and Gibraltar, also it has a lot of cargo like cars and other goods that come for commercial activity. So it's quite a big port. When you will come, inshallah, you'll be able to see, and we will try to show you around the port. Now, Algeciras also has a very big industry, fishing industry, of course, being close to the Mediterranean, the sea, and the ocean on the other side, on the extreme right of Algeciras. It gives a very good opportunity for fishing, especially during the autumn time when and the spring time when the tuna fish they cross over from the Atlantic coming into the Mediterranean because of the change of the climate. It gives the fishermen a good chance to do fishing. It also has a very big cereals like the Kellogg cereals that we eat, and tobacco farming in this city. Some important history: in the year 859 AD, there were around 62 drekkers. Now, drekkers are big Viking ships that they used back in the time. They entered into Algeciras and looted the city. This was quite a sad event as well, because they not only looted the city with the things that the city had, it also broke down many buildings, monuments, and especially and sadly two very famous masjids at the time, which was the Al Jama Masjid and the Banderas Masjid. Now, Al Jama Masjid is very interesting because in Arabic, Jama means congregation. So you see, when you go to pray at a masjid, there is a congregation, right? So that is why many masjids at the time, or mezquitas, how they say in Spanish, were called Al Jama, means the congregation. Another important and interesting thing to know is about Al Mansur. He was a famous ruler from the Umayyad time, the Umayyad period, or you can say he was a ruler from the Umayyad dynasty from 978 to 1002. For this period, it's because Hakam II was also one of the caliphs of the Umayyad dynasty, who was the son of the famous Abdul Rahman III, who I have spoken about in my other video. You can have a look at my video on Abdul Rahman III. Anyways, so Hakam II, when he passed away, his son was only 12 years old. Now, being in his, not being mature enough to take care of the entire caliphate, Al-Mansur was given the responsibility and he became the king. Now, Al-Mansur did not belong to a royal family. He was just a student that came to Cordoba to study. But he was very intelligent and quite good at warfare and managing the administration. So he rose up the ladders, and imagine, he became even the ruler of the caliphate. This tells us that everybody, all humans, no matter who you were, had a lot of equality at that time. Equality was practiced amongst different genders, male and female. As you know, in the Umayyad Caliphate, especially at that time in Cordoba, there were a lot of women that worked in the administration, mathematicians, writers, translators, interpreters. In fact, there was around 130 women who were translating on the outskirts of Cordoba for the Caliphate, converting Greek books into Arabic and and other languages. So there was equality practiced at that time. Also, another and lastly, somebody to know about in Algeciras is Paco de Lucia. Now, if for the most of you all that have come to Spain or to Andalusia especially, you all must have, hopefully you all have seen flamenco, which is a traditional dance from this region. And Paco de Lucia was a very famous artist, singer, who was involved with the flamenco industry over here. He's native from Algeciras, and there is actually a very big statue of him outside the Algeciras port. So this is a little bit of information about Algeciras. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and keep watching and stay tuned to